Fiesta. America's best-known brand of dinnerware was first manufactured and marketed to U.S. consumers in 1936 by the Homer Laughlin China Company.
We were talking about my grandfather out in California. Evidently saw some colored ware from Mexico, and he came back and he talked to Fred Reed and he talked to Dr. Blanninger, and he said, we're in the middle of the Depression, we've got to do something that will brighten people's lives, brighten the tabletop, and Fiesta was born.
Its bold artistic concept and Art Deco styling was the design creation of Frederick Hurton Reed, a distinguished ceramist from Stoke-on-Trent, England. Reed was hired by Homer Laughlin in 1927 to develop the aesthetic quality of the company's products. Fiesta was his greatest design achievement. The beautiful colors and glazes on Fiesta ware are attributed to Dr. Albert Victor Bleininger, a scientist at Homer Laughlin. Bleininger was responsible for a number of technical innovations in ceramics production throughout the 20s and 30s. Fiesta appealed to Depression-era buyers. Its brightly colored Art Deco style was cheerful and affordable. At about 20 cents a plate, it was priced to appeal to the middle of the market. The most striking characteristic of Fiesta was its color. The original 5 colors, red, yellow, cobalt blue, green, and ivory, were produced throughout the 30s and 40s. Turquoise was added in 1937. Almost as striking as the color was the molding of Fiesta's shape, Art Deco style with concentric circles. Fiesta sold over 1 million pieces in its second year, and sales climbed steadily, peaking at around 30 million pieces in 1948. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, low-cost imports invaded the U.S. market. In addition, consumer dinnerware tastes changed, and sales of Fiesta declined as consumers turned to more neutral colors and patterns.
We didn't do anything to adjust to the changing tastes of the American people. We didn't bring in very many new colors or new items to attract people to Fiesta.
Fiesta was withdrawn from the market at the end of 1972 after 37 years of production. Almost immediately, Fiesta became popular with collectors, commanding premium prices. By the 1980s, some items that had once cost less than 50 cents were going for hundreds of dollars. In 1959, the Homer Laughlin China Company introduced fully vitrified hotel china. Between 1959 and the mid-80s, the Homer Laughlin China Company developed the commercial side of its dinnerware business, selling new china products to restaurants, hotels, food service companies, institutional and government units. In the early 80s, the company began to produce lead-free china and to spend heavily on state-of-the-art production facilities, reducing production costs, cutting production time and inventories, and automating many steps involved in making china. Computer-operated fast-fired kilns were installed which cut the firing time from chinaware production from 72 hours to 9 hours. By 1987, the company was able to bring its prices closer to the prices of imported china. Today, the Homer Laughlin China Company is the industry leader in commercial dinnerware by competing effectively in 3 ways: by enhancing service, design, and quality, by finding a market niche, and by lowering costs through increased efficiency. Homer Laughlin's custom china business, lead-free products, quick turnaround on orders, and attention to client needs has set a standard for the commercial ware markets that is difficult for competitors to match, especially when it comes to upscale clients.
The reason we chose Homer Laughlin China is that we were looking for a quality product. There's one unique piece that was designed for us. It's called Arnie's Pepper. Mr. Palmer likes pepper on his food, and he likes a pepper shaker that will dispense a high quantity of pepper. So Homer Laughlin designed a pepper shaker for us, and it is logoed Arnie's Pepper, which is, again, something that we need, and they were willing to accommodate us in that setting. Our standards are high. We want a quality product. We want it in a short period of time, and we want it to be correct. We're very service-oriented, like I said, at Bay Hill, and we expect that of our vendors also. and Homer Laughlin has met those expectations.
The Fiesta saga might have gathered dust on the shelves of collectors and flea markets or in the pages of encyclopedias and price guides if Bloomingdale's, the prestigious New York department store, had not approached Homer Laughlin about reproducing it.
As soon as we discontinued it, people were knocking on our doorstep saying, "You've got to bring it back, you've got to bring it back, you've got to bring Fiesta back." But it wasn't until Bloomingdale's came to us and said, "You know, we're interested in this."
The reintroduction of Fiesta, where it came about in the mid-1980s, this was a time when our country had just gone through an economic downturn, and I think that people were ready for something that felt safe and warm, and dinnerware that their grandmother and their mother had fit the bill. At that same time, Bloomingdale's came to us looking for a dinnerware line that was both retro and Art Deco. We brought the product to market in 1986, and even though we had immediate success with Bloomingdale's, it took a while to get the other department stores around the country to accept.
The new Fiesta was a high-fire, fully vitrified, lead-free product, priced at $22 for a 5-piece set and distributed through department stores. Since its reintroduction, the Fiesta brand has been carefully managed. New colors have been added.
We're creating an entire lifestyle for someone to subscribe to, and that lifestyle is color.
Well, colors are very powerful. You know, they have an impact on everything we do. You know, we base our buying decisions on color. Color affects our mood. Color affects our emotions. Right at this point, you know, with the economy the way it is, people cannot buy high-ticket items, so you do have the money to reinvent your house, reinvent your kitchen, and the best way to do it is color. When we come out with a new color for Fiesta, it's done every year. A new color is introduced. It takes a group of people from our company. I have quite a few color trends that I follow, Pantone, color director, as well as fashion. You know, after Fashion Week, you know, I pay attention to what colors were popular, and everyone brings their information to the table. We share it, and then we have to decide, will this color work?
The Fiesta brand has been licensed to other companies that make compatible products under the Fiesta brand name.
What makes licensing such an attractive option, particularly for those companies that have the brand strength to do so, is that licensing allows for one company to partner with another whose products fit within a brand's promoted lifestyle. The revenue from this partnership is charged to the licensees in the way of fees. Now, these funds can go straight to the bottom line, or in the case of Homer Laughlin's Fiesta, are funneled back into the brand in the form of advertising.
New shapes and pieces have been added. For example, Fiesta Bakeware was introduced in 2007 in response to customer requests. Square shapes in the same sculpted Art Deco design were unveiled in 2008. These new shapes appeal to a younger demographic who like a more stylized look.
One of the things that we've recently started doing, in addition to advertising mostly in print magazines and focusing strongly on the younger women generation, which is basically our core client, we've also started dabbling in social media as well to try and bring our fans closer to us and allow them to interact with us more.
What does the future hold for Fiesta?
One particular challenge that Homer Laughlin faces is that its competitors choose to source product from overseas, and they can focus their entire marketing dollars here in the U.S. However, at Homer Laughlin, we not only focus on marketing our product, but also ensuring that jobs stay in the local area. Just recently, we entered into an agreement with another company that would save 100 jobs in this area.
In 2010, Homer Laughlin and Hall China Company merged in a move to increase the competitive strengths of both companies. Hall China Company is the largest U.S. manufacturer of specialty chinaware known worldwide for its unique decorated teapots, kitchenware, and oven-to-table servingware. Together, the merged companies will be larger and stronger in the international China manufacturing world. Fiesta recently had its 75th anniversary and sales are still strong. It's the most collected dinnerware in the history of the industry. It is a consistent leader in bridal registries and is the leading brand in the casual tabletop category. It appeals to older as well as to younger consumers for many of the same reasons it appealed to Depression-era buyers.
You know, the smoothness and the roundness and the colors and the flow, and, you know, I don't know what classic is, but I think that's one of them.